So, oh yeah, that that's AI.
How are we looking, James?
We're good and back to recording. It's finishing up tonight.
You sure it's not on?
My voice.
You never-
Yeah, I noticed that. That was. Yeah, we're good because the choice there on the stop.
Good. All right, we'll call this meeting to order. Regular session of the Oak Ridge City Council. We're at the Oak Ridge City Hall on July 18th, 2024, and the time is 6:53. Apologize for the late start. First order is pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Jackie, would you call the roll for the regular session, please?
Yes. Counselor Coker,
Excused?
Counselor Bjarnson,
Here.
Counselor Tarman,
Here.
Counselor Brewer,
Here.
Mayor Cutchin,
Here.
Counselor Kenyon,
Here.
Counselor Hollett,
You got Nicole.
Here.
Oh, there she is. Thank you.
okay. Mhm.
James, any additions, corrections, or adjustments to the agenda?
No.
Okay. Any counselors have any recommended adjustments to the agenda? Nothing heard and none from me. All right, now we'll go into public comment for the regular session. Any public comment in the room? Eugene?
Yeah, Eugene Cathcart, 76504 Pine Street. Well, I would thank you for going through the city charter, and contemplating how to make it better. I think it's great. I know it's a lot of work, so thanks to everyone who's been working on that. So the main reason I wanted to speak to you today was to encourage you to pass motion 10.2, the Trestle Bridge Professional Services Agreement Contract. The Trestle Bridge is, I think, one of the city's most valuable assets that's sitting unused. And I've been looking at it since I moved here 19 years ago and wishing that it could be utilized for pedestrian and bicycle traffic. It would really unify some of our more important assets in the city. So Greenwaters Park and the fish hatchery and the disc golf course and the whole neighborhood down there in Roaring Rapids with where we are right now. That would be a short walk or bike to get from here to there. And there's a reason that they put so much effort into building that bridge long ago. So I'd love to see it get used again. And I'm sure you know this is to get a feasibility study going for that. So please support and pass that motion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any comments online? Public comment online. And back to the room one more time, anyone? Happy?
Is this public comment about items on the agenda or?
Public comment about anything?
Okay, then, Senate Bill 1537 makes it possible for cities to expand their urban growth boundary for the sake of project accommodating low-income housing. And I would like to see the city council take that up. That would enable our city to expand our urban growth boundary by 50 acres, which is substantial. And makes any, SB 1537 makes it where any project that is approved under that expansion is not counted if under the usual regulations governing project approval. So it simplifies a lot of the approval process. I'd love to see our city take it next.
Thank you. James, could you maybe have Rick do just an informational paper or a presentation when he's able to put that together?
Yeah. I know Rick and I talked about this movie before, but yes, I would definitely do that.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment? Online or in the room? Okay, moving on. Mayor comments, announcements, proclamations. You're probably all aware, but our neighbors up in High Prairie are under both a level 1 and level 2, depending on where you are. Level 2 is east of High Prairie Road at milepost 5.5, which includes Dead Mountain, Mountain View, Huckleberry, and High Prairie Loop. Level 1 is High Prairie area east of North Fork Road and north of West Oak Ridge Road to milepost 5.5 on High Prairie Road. They do, the sheriff has made an announcement, those up there that have large animals and livestock, there is a shelter to take them to. Normally it would be the Lane County Event Center, but right now the Lane County Fair is operating there. So it's at the Buford Recreation Area located at 34901 Frank Parish Road, Eugene. The Lane County has a website dedicated to the fire up here in High Prairie. So if you have further questions, go there. There's telephone numbers and the like. And there's also some information on kind of the status of the fire, but it's not right now. It's at least on the websites. It's saying 10 acres, but who knows at this point with the winds that we've had. So, in any case, keep your thoughts for all those folks that live up in that area. I know he's probably experienced some smoke today. But that's all the mayor comments. I'll move on to council comments, announcements. Any councilors have anything for the group? Nothing heard. So on to item 8, which is the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion on that?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, the motion was made by Councilor Kenyon and seconded by Councilor Tarman to approve the consent agenda. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. On to item 9.1, replacing Councilor Bjornson on the audit committee. James?
All right, Councilor Bjornson has requested that we will step down from the role of audit committee, and she would like to nominate Councilor Brewer to replace her. Of course, that motion must be made now in public. That's rather, and of course, additional nominations could also be made.
Okay, do I hear a motion or a nomination, I guess, is what it would be, a motion?
I move to replace Councilor Bjornson on the audit committee with Councilor Brewer.
Second.
All right, motion was made by Councilor Kenyon, seconded by Councilor Tarman. Any discussion, or maybe we should ask Councilor Brewer if she's actually wants the position?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, the motion was made to replace Councilor Bjornson on the audit committee with Councilor Brewer. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Councilor Bjornson, thank you for your service on the committee, and Councilor Brewer, welcome to the audit committee, and thank you for volunteering.
Thank you, guys.
All right, item 10, business from the city council. Item 10.1 is the fiscal year 22-23 audit plan letter of action, audit plan of action letter. James?
All right, we discussed this, I think, the council meetings ago. We have two relatively minor this time, weaknesses in our audit. And we have to write a letter of response that says, send to the Secretary of State within 30 days of the audit coming out. So, there to that, letter that will go to the Secretary of State and person is council approval or the sign.
Okay, do I hear a motion on this agenda item?
I move to approve and adopt the fiscal year 22-23 audit report. Plan of action letter to be signed by the mayor and then filed with the Oregon Secretary of State.
Second.
All right, motion was made by Counselor Kenyon, second by Counselor Tarman. Any questions of staff on this letter and the actions or discussion on this? All right, the motion was to approve and adopt the fiscal year 22-23 audit report plan of action letter to be signed by the mayor and then filed with the Oregon Secretary of State. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer.
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
All right, motion passes. On to 10.2, and that is the Trestle Bridge Professional Services Agreement Contract. James?
All right, as council probably remember, we were awarded $40,000 grant to do feasibility study on the Salmon Creek Trestle Bridge. Got that grant, had an RFP process for engineers to do this. Mullen firm was selected. Contract, and the chair of the Salmon Creek Bridge is here with us in that part. And I told her that she would be the one that gets to field any questions on this, because she spearheaded this project. Also want to thank her for her work on this. Right, the agenda. Really appreciate it.
All right, so we'll ask for a motion first, and then we'll, if there's any questions to ask of Sue, then we'll do that. Okay.
I move to approve the professional services contract with McMullen Engineering and allow the city administrator to sign in on behalf of the city.
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Counselor Tarman, second by Counselor Kenyon. Any questions of Sue, of the staff, or discussion on this? This is all grant funded, right, James? Or is there a cost share?
I'll share it, and we, it's through volunteer donations. Some of it has been, will be a little bit of resources at the same time, which has already happened.
Yep.
But volunteer hours.
In kind, yep, perfect. Any other comments, concerns? Counselor Kenyon?
I just wanted to ask, I noticed that 8 consulting firm applied, or no, it was circulated to 8. So how many responded?
We had one response.
Okay,
Yeah, which wasn't what we were hoping for, but then, you know, we were obviously hoping for more. But when we met with the responders, it was Ed Hodges and Counselor Harmon and myself. We met with the 2 members of the team, Lily, his contacting Eugene, and it turned out, well, great, technically want to do the project. Yeah, bridge nerds.
okay.
With quite a history of restoring, restoring trestles for pedestrian use, you know. Cool, yeah, quite happy with the results.
Yeah, great. All right, any other questions, comments? Counselor Hollett?
No questions, just a thank you to Sue Cathcart and the people working with her. I know this has been, I think, a couple-year project, so thanks for the perseverance, and I am excited to see what happens.
Thank you. All right, the motion was to approve the professional services contract with McMullen Engineering and allow the city administrator to sign it on behalf of the city.
Making sure that's accurate. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye. All right, motion passed unanimously. On item 10.3, and that's motion to send proposed new city charter to the city attorney for review and ballot title. James?
Thank you, Mayor. Based on our conversation for the period, I would like to amend my recommended motion and have it read. The recommended motion to be approved sending the proposal to city charter to the city attorney to start reviewing it and creating a ballot title. I'm just worried about the time crunch. And so I'd like to get this out to them now, letting them know that we are making some edits, but that way it's started. With the understanding, it sounds like we're gonna send something to him, at least in weeks, at least to get started.
All right, do I hear a motion? Okay.
I move to approve sending the proposed new city charter to the city attorney to start review and creation of a ballot title.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion made by Councilor Tarman, seconded by Councilor Kenyon. Any questions here on sending the charter to the city attorney? So James, he reviews for legality, legal purposes, and
And then comes up with the ballot title that it means it's neutral. Whether it's been county. Not.
you know if there's a description of like a summary below in the voter pamphlet on this? Would there be?
Oh, yeah, underneath this agenda item, there's all the steps and.
I know sometimes they don't actually publish a voter pamphlet,
Right, yeah.
but if it is published, I'm sure there's an opportunity to summarize it in the bit right here.
Gotcha,
Okay,
but I can't remember being Blaine County, I think they don't do it without.
last regular election, they did not.
Right, if they do it gets printed in the state of Oregon one. So we would have the ability to add a whole segment in the voter pamphlet on this,
State.
in the state. But that goes to everyone.
Yes, great, we'll look at all the options.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions on this? All right, the motion was to approve sending the proposed new city charter to the city attorney to start reviewing and creating a ballot title. That makes sense? Change? Good, all right. Jack, would you call for a vote, please?
Yes. Mayor Cutchin,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously. On to 10.4, motion to authorize the CA and council president to sign checks on behalf of the city. James?
All right, before I forget, I'm going to suggest that instead of the word checks in the recommended motion, we substitute that with authorized expenditures, which you pointed out, some from transfers, not steps. Going back to the issue, so during our last city council meeting on Monday, the issue of who is authorized by the charter to sign checks on behalf of the city. Discuss. According to our current charter, the mayor and the city recorder are authorized to both sign all orders of the treasury. That's been reviewed by the legal counsel before, and then antiquated, and our current practice is that the city administrator or the finance director, mayor, or the council president are all authorized to sign checks. And 2 signatures are required. That's been our practice for the years. Okay, by multiple city attorneys. But council pointed out that as it's worded in such a way in the charter, in abundance of caution, maybe it should be a motion that expressly authorize city administrator and council president to also authorize expenditures in addition to order.
Okay. Hear a motion on this?
Make a motion. I move to allow the city administrator and the council president to authorize expenditures on behalf of the city.
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Counselor Tarman, second by Counselor Kenyon. Any questions for staff on this? Discussion, please.
So we're only talking here about adding city administrator and council president, but the way the current charter is written, it says recorder and mayor are the 2 authorized to sign, but our recorder doesn't really sign checks, right? It's our finance director. With our
City administrator.
and whoever the second person ends up being. So shouldn't we maybe also add into this finance director?
So. Yeah, you're right.
Finance director or pro tem finance director?
Yeah,
Or do you want to just hold off? I mean, you're signing everything now, James, and until you get another finance director, and at that point, just keep it finance director.
Yeah, but yeah, I think adding financial would be good because sometimes there are online transfers and stuff, which would be considered expenditure or ACH. Those have to, again, 2 people, but again, in abundance of caution, yes, please add finance director to that list if that amendment is okay. Absolutely.
You okay with that addition of the finance director?
Good with that addition.
Counselor Kenyon? All right. Any other discussion on this? All right, the motion was
I can read it if you'd like.
okay, go ahead, please.
My motion was, I move to allow the city administrator, council president, finance director to authorize expenditures on behalf of the city.
Okay. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Mayor Cutchin,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
I,
All right, motion passes unanimously. On to item 11, which is business from the city administrator. 11.1 updates on hiring efforts. James?
I just want to bring this to council's attention. We've got a number of positions open right now. We're going to be adding some worthy, for instance, finance director is not posted yet. We're working on that. Couple positions in public works. We went to the Bridge Lane event and I think brought up a little bit more support and candidates. And we're doing better with public works. Fire department really struggling to find folks that want to work here. A lot of that is because a lot of departments are offering $10,000, $20,000 bonuses. So at least as of whenever I worked this agenda bill a couple days ago, didn't have any applicants for the full-time position. And also didn't have any candidates for the 2 seasonal workers. I called a friend at another fire department, that's chief there, and saying, yeah, they're having the same problems. It's really hard hiring people. So I just want to bring that to council attention and, so help us when we can. Like,
It's unorthodox change, but did you advertise on Craigslist?
I know we talked about doing that, but we will.
Yeah, I did it once for, I forget what it was for, and I got quite a number off of Craigslist. Thanks, it's interest anyway. May not qualify, but we're trying.
Yeah, and that's free, so yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all I really, I mean, if people have any specific questions, they can probably ask Chief Holland when we get his report. And same in public works.
11.2 is other business and updates. Anything more than that?
Just a couple quick things, reminder about elections again. As of right now, there's only 2 candidates for 4 open positions. I have packets here now, with you see they can pick up. They're also available online. City website or City Hall Monday, Thursday, or Jackie and I noticed that we made an error on like the 3rd or 4th page of the packet. I was left over from last election, we said that the open positions for 4 city councilors and mayor. Don't worry, your positions are not open for the election this year. But again, that was just one mistake out of mentioned one time. We fixed that. Anyway, mayor's not available to run for. But the city council positions are, and the deadline is August
27?
That's the final deadline. The first deadline is August 15th. Paperwork.
Yeah.
And
City Hall by 13th, right?
yeah, August 13th, 4 p.m. on August 15th. And that's
Your signatures in afterwards, or
No, you get your signatures in by the.
I'll buy it.
What is that number this year, Jane?
ooh,
You remember?
I don't check. You remember probably your
I
head?
think it's 14. Number of signatures.
You are correct, Jackie.
Thanks, Jackie, but remember, always double that, because some of them fall out.
It's true. It could be challenged, yeah. Somebody outside city limits sign for you, etc.
Please.
So in actuality, we have 3 seats that are 4-year and 1 seat that's a 2-year. Is
Correct.
that right? Okay.
And you have to choose which race you want to run in, and you cannot run both.
So that reminds me, I think when I remember filling out that application, it didn't say which seat are you running for. Is that on the application now, or does the person have to handwrite in which seat they're running for?
They handwrite it in on the signature sheet.
Okay, on the signatures.
And we will make sure to clarify with candidates when they turn this up in, Jackie, looks at it, make sure they check all boxes, etc. So she'll make sure that.
Yeah, I make sure to know if they're doing 2 or 4.
Couple of interesting.
Yep.
Things, go back to the fire updates. I really want to give credit to the Oak Ridge Fire Department. They were the first responders on that fire. I joined them eventually. And I've been around a few of these fires now. I guarantee you, if they hadn't been there through that initial attack, we would be evacuated. So they really did a great job. So I really applaud them. They were joined soon after by from the Forest League and US Forest Service, but it's so crucial to get somebody there right now. I know it's still burning, but I'm telling you, it would have been awful had they not been invited. So we really want to thank firefighters for that. Just to remind folks, sign up for lane alerts, stuff on the website, handouts outside as well. And wanted to mention that the United Methodist Church has offered to potentially to be the shelter if folks from Hyper get evacuated, it will be activated as shelter manned by the Red Cross. They have also taken in a hotshot team today. So I really want to thank the Methodist Church for doing that in conjunction with We Are Sharp, helping feed them, etc. But that has meant that the open house where We Are Sharp this Friday has been canceled because they taking everyone in, preparing the shelter. So thank you to We Are Sharp and United Methodist Church, but that open house this Friday is canceled.
Yeah, thank you, James. Item 12, nothing was removed from consent agenda. Item 13 are ordinances and resolutions with public comment. First is 13.1 ordinance 945 franchise agreement with Hunter Communications. James?
All right, so we've had an existing franchise agreement with Hunter Communications for a number of years. Haven't made much money off of it because the system hasn't been built out. But they are really going to expand in this area, and the city will start seeing 5% franchise fees from those users. So it's going to be hopefully a lot of revenue. If folks want high-speed fiber internet through Hunter, obviously totally optional, but those the city will have some funding. The contract has been approved by the city attorney. We've made some minor improvements from the previous one. For instance, in our previous agreement, we just got the best rate for use by City Hall. We negotiated to get that rate down 50% off, so at price. Replace one for the city, which makes it more competitive to the city. Fiber obviously costs more to invest. And I believe we might have someone from Hunter available online, although it's a lot later than I told them it would be, so they dropped off. But in case there are any questions, they may be able to field those questions now. If not, I can take those questions back to them.
Okay, Mr. Ken, you have a question before we?
I just have one question for you, James, is, we are currently receiving franchise fees from Hunters, right? Is it a lower percentage? Is this?
No, still 5%, but they don't have very many customers, so it's not.
Oh,
Just the city, yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're expanding.
Yeah, they're expanding dramatically.
Do I hear a motion on this? Okay.
I move that we approve ordinance 945, renewing franchise agreement with Hunter Communications after first reading.
You're a second?
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Councilor Tarman, seconded by Councilor Kenyon. Any questions of staff or discussion on this? James, is it, I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilor Kenyon.
Sorry, one question. I haven't read through this whole thing, so I just want to know how long, what's the term of this contract?
5-year term was same as the last.
Okay,
James is, I know that 5% is what we currently have and are going to have next contract in this one if we approve it. Is that in line with other cities as far as you could tell, or do you know?
Yes, it is, and that was some of the discussion. We've actually worked on this for a number of months. Yes, it is.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else? All right, the motion was to approve and adopt ordinance 945, renewing the franchise agreement with Hunter Communications after first reading. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously. Is there another motion to be made here? Actually, let's read the,
Because it's. That's too simple.
the We're reading the resolution, right? Not the contract,
The ordinance itself.
or the ordinance, aren't we?
Yeah, but the ordinance itself.
Is the contract?
Wow,
7:30, okay.
I wonder,
There a way to, any way to abbreviate this? I don't think so. Let's see.
is it necessary that this passes today? Because if we wrote an ordinance that just did the whereases and then this was attached as a exhibit A, we wouldn't be reading so much details.
Well, we have to renegotiate that kind
Yeah,
of situation.
Unless you want to read it.
well, we don't have much choice.
Okay.
All right, you want to start, James? I'll pitch in as well.
Right, ordinance 945, an ordinance repealing and replacing ordinance 906, granting Hunter Communications and Technologies LLC a non-exclusive franchise right to construct, operate, and maintain a fiber-based service facility, occupy city rights of way, and to provide fiber-based services in the city of Oak Ridge, Oregon, and setting an effective date. City of Oak Ridge, Oregon, are named as follows: Section 1, definitions of this ordinance. City means City of Oak Ridge, Oregon. Grantee means Hunter Communications and Technologies LLC. The guarantee of rights under this franchise, including successors or sons. Council means the City Council of the City of Oak Ridge, Oregon. Date of services means the transmission of information, facts, concepts, or instructions in formalized manner suitable for communication, interpretation, or processing by any means of product protocol of transmission and the equipment necessary for such transmission. Voice and video services are sometimes included in data services. The definitions here are stated separately so as inclusive rather than exclusive of forms of fiber-based services. Includes the sending and receiving of data from and to any ultimate customer. Facilities means the conduits, cables, poles, wires, fibers, fixtures, and underground lines, handholds, and apparatus thereto, including other technical facilities necessary for the purpose of providing data, voice, and video services. Gross revenues means all revenues earned and received by the grantee in the delivery of data, voice, and video services within the city of Oak Ridge is further defined in section 8. Person means a person, firm, partnership, association, relation with liability, company, or organization of the time. Rights of way include streets, land, paths, boulevards, avenues, circles, drives, and roads, highways, bridges, alleys, sidewalks, public utilities, including subsurface under and airspace over. These areas can be similar public way and extension to the too. This definition applies only to the extent of the city's right, title, interest, or authority to grant a franchise to occupy and use such areas for city communication facilities. Rights of way exclude other property owned by the city, such as parks or public works. Video services means the transmission by any means or technology of visual images, including moving and still images, and for the reception by denied either as one-way or two-way transmission, and all equipment or facility necessary for such transmission. Voice services includes providing processing and transmission of voice communications, including all equipment associated with such transmission. It also includes services related to or commonly sold in connection with the transmission of voice communication, such as but not limited to call waiting, call forwarding, voicemail, and other similar services. Voice services include all forms of transmission of voice communication regardless of the medium or method of transmission. Ultimate consumer means any entity that obtains services transmitted over guarantees facilities for its own use by any means, including purchase, lease, or direct receipt of such services. Section 2, grant authority. City grants guarantee the right and privilege subject to all city of Oak Ridge ordinances, policies, rules, and regulations to construct, install, maintain, and operate over, in, on, and under present and future city rights of way of the city of Oak Ridge facilities necessary for the purpose of providing fiber-based services. This franchise is not exclusive, and city reserves the right to grant a similar provision to any other person at any time during the period of this franchise. This grant is further subject to all private rights, interests, agreements, permits, easements, or licenses granted by the city, and to the city's right to use the rights of the purposes of fit, including the same similar purposes allowed in the deed thereunder. This franchise was not given any rights with regard to attaching to or using any city or public property located in the rights of way. Or city rights or common. Such additional use of city property may be granted on an individual basis under a separate agreement. Section 3, compliance with laws, rules, and regulations. The locations, methods of installation, and maintenance of all guaranteed facilities shall be subject at all times to regulation by the city, including city ordinances and policies, street cuts, and use of rights of way. And all such facilities shall be so constructed and continued as to interfere as little as possible with street or other traffic. Nothing herein, however, shall be construed to change or modify any act of code or in law regarding guarantee's ability to recover costs of any relocation of its facilities. All of such facilities shall be installed and at all times maintained by grantee in accordance with industry standard. Grantee shall change the location of or remove any pole, conduit, structure, or facility in the public right of way when the city determines that the public convenience requires such changes or removal. The expense of said change shall be paid by the grantee.
Like, section 4. Section 4, guarantee liability, indemnification, and city insurance. 1, guarantee shall at all times conduct with operations under this franchise, including installation, construction, and maintenance of its facilities, and safe and workmanlike manner shall not present danger to the public or city. 2, the fullest extent permitted by law, grantee shall defend, save, harmless, and indemnify city from any loss or claim against city on account of or in connection with any activity of the construction, operation, or maintenance of its facilities, provided such loss or claim is not as a result of the city's negligence. Nothing contained in this foregoing indemnity provision or any other indemnity provision in this franchise shall be construed or required to require the grantee to indemnify the city related parties, architects, consultants, and agents, and employees of any of them, and anyone else acting for or on behalf of the city for damages, losses, liabilities, costs, and expenses due to the sole negligence or willful misconduct of the city's related parties, architects, consultants, agents, and employees of any of them, and anyone else acting for or on the city's behalf. The city acknowledges that under no circumstance will the grantee be liable under this franchise for special, consequential, or punitive damages or damages with respect to economic loss. Number 3, this franchise shall not be effective until grantee secures and shall at all times be conditioned upon grantee maintaining a comprehensive liability insurance policy which shall contain the following provisions. A, grantee shall obtain a grantee's expense and keep in effect at all times during the term of this franchise, public liability and property damage insurance that protects grantee and the city as well as city officers, agents, and employees and certain provided claims referred to in section 4.2. Insurance shall provide coverage at all times if not less than $2 million for personal injury to each person, $4 million for each occurrence, and $1 million for each occurrence involving property damages plus cost of defense, or a single limit policy of not less than $4 million, covering all claims for occurrence plus cost of defense. The insurance policies may provide for self-protection or deductibles in reasonable amounts. The limits of this insurance shall be subject to statutory changes as to the maximum limit to liability for those on municipalities in the state of Oregon during the term of this franchise. Grantee and its subcontracting contractors, if any, will comply with the Oregon's workers' compensation law of all kinds. City, its officers, directors, and employees shall be added as additional insured with respect to the grantee's general liability insurance policy. Grantee will require that its insurance carrier give the city 30 days written notice of any changes to insurance coverage. B, there shall be no cancellation, material change, exhaustion of aggregate limits, or intent not to renew insurance coverage without 30 days written notice to the city. Any failure to comply with this provision will not affect the insurance provided to the city. The 30-day cancellation provision shall be physically endorsed on the policy. E, coverage provided by grantee must be underwritten by an insurance company deemed acceptable by the city. City reserves the right to reject all or any insurance carriers with an unacceptable financial rating or not authorized to transfer that business and work. As evidence of the insurance coverage required by this franchise, grantee shall furnish a certificate of insurance to the city. This franchise shall not be in effect until the required certificate has been received and approved by the city. The certificate will specify and document all provisions within this franchise. A renewal certificate will be sent to the city 10 days prior to coverage expiration.
can do section 5. Section 5, conditions on right-of-way occupancy. 1, use grantee shall construct, install, maintain, and operate its facilities in a designated city rights of way to the industrial standard and city satisfaction, in compliance with all state laws and regulations and city ordinances, rules, policies, and regulations, and in a manner so as to cause minimum interference with the proper use of streets, alleys, and other public ways and places, and to cause minimum interference with the rights or reasonable convenience of property owners who adjoin any of the streets, alleys, or other public ways and places. 2, restoration and in any case of any disturbance of pavement, sidewalk, driveway, or other surfacing by grantee shall at its own expense and cost in a manner approved by the city, replace and restore all paving, sidewalk, driveway, landscaping, or surface of any street or alley if disturbed. If grantee fails to make restoration as required, city may cause the repairs to be made at the expense of the grantee. 3, relocation, except as provided below if the removal or relocation of facilities is caused directly by identifiable development of property and the removal or relocation of facilities occurs within the area to be developed or is made for the convenience of a customer, grantee may charge the expense of removal or relocation to the developer or the customer, provided it is not contrary to any laws. Grantee shall be solely responsible for enforcing collection from the developer or customer. City may require grantee to relocate its facilities. If the removal or relocation of facilities results in the city's need to provide public facilities is a city project, or is it otherwise requested by the city and it's made for the purpose of improving a street to city standards or other improvement for the benefit of the public, grantee will remove and relocate its facilities. The grantee's expense within a reasonable time frame after the notification by the city. In cases of capital improvement projects undertaken by city, grantee shall convert existing overhead distribution facilities to underground at grantee's expense if requested to do so by the city. City agrees to comply with provisions of applicable law when requiring such conversion. In the event that any electric, utilities, cable facilities, or telecommunication facilities are reimbursed by the city or any agency thereof for the placement of cable underground or in the movement of cable, grantee shall be reimbursed upon the same terms and conditions as any other telecommunications, electric, or other utilities. 4, placement of facilities, grantee shall not place its facilities where they will interfere with any existing or future city utility, gas, electric, or telephone fixture, power, sanitary sewer, storm sewer, or water facility. Grantee will consult with the city's public works department prior to placement of facilities and will comply with all city ordinances, policies, rules, and regulations in connection with its placement of facilities. Wherever all existing electrical utilities, cable facilities, telecommunication facilities are located underground in a public right of way of the city, grantee must also locate and relocate its facilities underground. Temporary rearrangement of facilities, grantee shall, consistent with city policies, ordinances, rules, and regulations, arrange to temporarily raise, lower, or otherwise move its facilities, to permit the moving of buildings or other objects if the person wishing to move the building or other object makes a reasonable arrangement to reimburse the guarantee for its expenses in rearranging its facilities. Nothing contained in this section shall preclude the city from requiring grantee to move its facilities at its own expense when public convenience requires the move, as described in subsections 3 and 4 of this section.
Right, section 6.
Yep.
Transfer of franchise. Grantee shall not sell, assign, dispose of, lease, or transfer in any manner whatsoever any interest in its franchise or any facilities authorized in this franchise or any part of the facilities without prior written approval of the city. Consent shall not be unreasonably withheld. The city may impose reasonable conditions on its approval of the city, but not limited to the requirement. The reading, acknowledging, right, and agree to be bound by the terms of this franchise. City shall elect from the city actual administrative processing to request, including cost of ascertaining the financial responsibility of the first three. Foregoing requirements shall not apply to the sale, assignment, or transfer to any person that is not owned or by the key, or any person that owns or withholds the key. The key shall notify the city 30 days prior to such sale, assignment, or transfer. Section 7, city rights and franchise. City supervision inspection, city shall have the right to supervise on inspection on installation of these facilities subject to provision of the franchise and such inspections as unnecessary to ensure compliance with governing laws, ordinances, rules, and regulations. Termination or abandonment. On any termination of this franchise, all facilities installed or used by grantee shall be removed by grantee at grantee's expense. The property upon which the facilities will be restored by grantee to the condition and for installation, except that city or its designee shall have the following options after termination of its franchise. City or entity may elect to acquire facilities for their fair market value consistent with law. And value shall be determined by an appraiser who is mutually acceptable to the city and grantee. In the event the city and grantee are unable to agree to a single appraiser, then the city and grantee shall each appoint an appraiser, and those two appraisers shall select a third appraiser. The opinion of any two appraisers shall be determinant of the value of the facility. City agrees to provide grantee with written notice of its terminating of an intent to acquire grantees facilities pursuant to this section within 120 days after the termination of this franchise of the city or city's declaration of the city by grantee, with the closing of the acquisition to occur soon thereafter as practicable. City connection right to facilities. In addition to the city's other rights in this franchise, the city shall have the right to obtain services from grantee at 50% price of grantee's most favorable rate applicable to those services. Nothing in subsection shall affect the obligation to pay franchise fees for the city. Ordinance. Section 8, franchise fee compensation for use of right way. Consideration of the right privileges and franchise to be regulated. Grantee shall pay monthly to city the sum of 5% of gross revenue earned from all telecommunication services, specifically including data, voice, and video services provided by grantee through grantee of the city's right of way. Grantee may, at its discretion, deduct uncollectible franchise fees from the accounts of customers within the corporate limits of the city from its remittances to the city. Gross revenues do not include taxes, fees, or assessments of general applicability collected by the grantee for ultimate consumers will pass through to a government agency or revenue paid directly by the United States of America or any of its agencies. The fee required by this section shall be due and payable within 60 days after the end of each applicable quarter. Any payment not made in due shall bear interest at the rate of 12% from the fee due until paid. City's acceptance of any payments due under this section shall not be considered waiver by the city of the franchise. Grantee agrees and covenants that it will not challenge the validity of the franchise fees under this ordinance as long as they do not exceed the maximum amounts established by statute. Section 9, grantee records and reports. Grantee shall keep accurate books of financial accounts at an office within the state of Oregon throughout the term of this franchise. Grantee shall produce all books and records directly concerning gross revenue and other financial information necessary by city also to the calculation of the franchise fee for inspection by city free of charge. No less than 10 days prior to notice during the city may require periodic reports from the grantee related to its operations within the city. City shall have the right during the term of this franchise or 180 days thereafter to conduct audits of the grantee records. Such audits shall be undertaken by a qualified person or entity selected by the city. Cost of any such audit shall be borne by the city unless the results of any such audit reveal an underpayment by more than 5% of franchise fee for the audit. In the case of such underpayment, the full cost of such audit shall be paid by grantee. He shall immediately pay the amount of the underpayment as determined by such audit to the city, together with 12% per annum interest from the date such payment should have been made to the date the payment was actually made. Any audit information obtained by city under these provisions shall be kept confidential to the maximum extent allowed by the law, so that this obligation shall not prevent the city from introducing audit results in any form where the enforcement of the provisions of this franchise is an issue. Section 10, for inspection fees. Nothing in this ordinance shall be construed to limit the right of city to require grantee to pay the costs incurred by city in connection with the issuance of a franchise permit, inspection, or performing any other service for or in connection with grantee or its facility, whether pursuant to this ordinance or any other ordinance or regulation now in effect or even after adopted by the city. Public Works Department of the City of Oak Ridge is hereby allowed to expedite the approval process of any permit applications or requests relative to activities conducted by franchisee under this agreement. The purpose of the expedited process is to reduce the use of city resources for activities that require only a minimal amount of review due to their minimally disruptive nature, typical patients and or standard communication activities associated with the franchise. Anybody want to take over and do that? We're getting close, folks. Two more pages.
Section 11, enforcement and termination of franchise for violation. 1, default. Time of payment and performance are less than the absence of the franchise. The following shall be events of default. A, default is means the failure to grant to pay the city when due any amount required by franchise and such failure to for a period of 10 days after the first of the events. B, default and other covenants. The failure of grantee to perform any of the covenants and conditions required herein to be kept and performed by grantee and such failure continues for a period of 30 days after the city shall of such failure. 2, termination. On the occurrence of an event of default, this franchise may be terminated at the option of the city by notice in writing to grantee within 30 days of the date of default. If the franchise is not terminated by election of city, grants shall pay city the sum of $100 per day for each day the default continues, along with any additional damage suffered by city as a result of granted default. Section 12, remedies not exclusive waiver. All remedies under this ordinance, including termination of franchise, are cumulative and recovery or enforcement of one, if not regard to the recovery or enforcement of any other remedy. Remedies contained in this ordinance, including termination of the franchise, are not exclusive, and city reserves the right to enforce penal provisions of any ordinance and also use any remedy available to city at law or in equity. Failure to enforce any provision of this ordinance shall not be construed as waiver or breach or any other term. Issue or obligation of this ordinance. Section 13, franchise term. This franchise is granted for a term of 5 years, beginning on the date on which this franchise ordinance is approved. City agrees to renegotiate and to pay a renewal of this franchise for a similar term if this franchise is not in default at its expiration. Section 14, acceptance of franchise and its effective date. Within 30 days from the adoption of this ordinance, grantee shall file with the city recorder a written unconditional acceptance of this franchise executed by a duly authorized representative and all its terms and conditions. And if it fails to do so, the ordinance shall be void and is no effect. This ordinance shall become effective the day after grantee acceptance is filed with the city. Section 15, severability. Any section, subsection, entity clause, or portion of this ordinance is for any reason held invalid or rendered unconstitutional by any court or competent jurisdiction. Such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent division of several ways. Shall not affect the validity or constitutionality of the remaining portion thereof. If for any reason the franchise fee is invalidated or amended by the act of any court or governmental agency, then the highest franchise fee allowed by such court or governmental agency shall be the franchise fee charged by this ordinance. Section 16, notices. Any notice required or permitted under this franchise shall be given when received or when deposited and posted prepaid in the United States mail or as registered or certified. Address as follows. Two cities, City of Oak Ridge, Attention City Administrator, the Fox 141 free, grantee, Hunter Communications, Attention Contract Administration, 801 Enterprise Drive, 614, and 74 to such other offenses as may be specified from time to time in the Section 17, interpretation or restriction. These franchise shall be entered into in Monmouth County, Oregon, jurisdiction of any dispute shall be in the circuit court of the state of Oregon, and it shall be in Monmouth County, Oregon. Interpretation of the franchise shall be governed by laws of the state of Oregon. Section 16, force. The grantee shall not be held in default under or in non-compliance with provisions of this ordinance, nor suffer any enforcement or penalty relating to non-compliance with default or subject to non-compliance or alleged defaults occurred or were caused by circumstances which can be beyond the ability of the grantee to participate in default. The provision includes work related to waiting for the utility providers to service and operate the utility poles which utilities are attached, as well as availability of materials and unqualified labor performing the necessary work.
No. We're good. All right, well, that was the reading of the ordinance. Now, it was a unanimous vote. Are there any other motions that would like to be made tonight?
Sure. I move that we approve and adopt ordinance 945, renewing the franchise agreement with Hunter Communications after a second reading. By title only.
By title? Are you certain?
I see Mr. Smith was watching.
I'll second that.
All right, motion was made by Councilor Terman and seconded by Councilor Kenyon. Any discussion on the second reading by title only? All right, the motion was move and adopt ordinance 945, renewing the franchise agreement with Hunter Communications after a second reading by title only. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye. All right, motion passes unanimously by title only. James, you want to do that?
Ordinance 945. This case, ordinance 945, an ordinance repealing and replacing ordinance 906, granting Hunter Communications and Technologies a non-exclusive franchise and right to construct, operate, and maintain fiber-based service facility occupied by city rights of way and to provide fiber-based services in the city of Oakland, Oregon, instead of effective date.
All right, thank you. 13.2 is resolution 19-2024, referring a star voting ordinance to the voters for the November general election. James.
However, if you correct, it is a little confusing, but it is true. This is a resolution which will put an ordinance in front of voters. Voters decide if they want to try star voting. For 3 election cycles. We discussed it length. I'm a huge proponent of this. Something has to change. I can't tell you how many times I've considered voting for third party candidate and said, well, that would be going my vote away. Didn't do it. Star voting allows you to do that. If you like the most stars, you can still show your preference on the remaining candidates. The only concern I ever had about alternative voting was spoiled ballots, and this star voting addresses that.
The what?
Spoiled.
Ballots, like if you don't follow the directions, like if you only rank 3 out of the 5 candidates running. That's fine. The ones you don't give any stars to. So like you gave 0 stars, you can't mess it up. I think we're gonna see less ballots being spoiled, and I think you're gonna see more people voting, because frankly, there are some people who say, it doesn't matter if I vote. It's up to the 2 big parties. I don't like either one of them or whatever, why vote? I think we're gonna see increased voting. And I had a discussion earlier today. Someone talked about like, why are we trying to do something so wild and so different? Well, frankly, I'm tired of people looking at Oak Ridge, it's like, oh, they're 30 years in the past. Start voting in the future. Let's lead away rather than. Like I said, just been trying it out for 3 years. Recycle, thank you. Don't like it, we stop. Awesome thing with city. I think it's a win-win. And again, just to be clear, what councils are voting on today, is not whether or not they personally like it, it's whether they believe it should be in front of voters to decide if they like it.
I hear a motion on this.
I move to approve resolution 19-2024, referring a star voting ordinance to the voters in November after a first reading.
Second.
All right, motion was made by Councilor Kenyon, seconded by Councilor Tarman. Discussion or questions, star voting? Online, any of the councilors online have any questions? I have some concerns. I get it. It goes to the voters and gives them an opportunity, but it gives them only one option. It doesn't, they aren't educated on the different choices that are out there, whether it be, is there anything wrong with the current system that we have right now? Does anyone really have any issues with it? 2, are they educated on ranked choice voting, which is another way you could go? There are many ways voting systems out there, and we're offering them, here's the one carrot. We're not saying, do you want ranked choice? Do you want traditional voting? Do you want star voting? So that's my first concern. And the second concern, and let me ask you this question. This could go to any election cycle, right? It doesn't have to be in November. It could go to the May election. It could go to next November, right?
So the way we grow it is that the funding has to be in place first, so that make sure that the cost of the city. the intent to be 2 years after this election.
No, but what I'm saying is this particular resolution, if for whatever reason, my point is, I don't think the public is, we've done enough education on this. There should be a town hall that goes through all these systems, and Sarah comes and says what star voting is, and you could have someone that supports ranked choice voting come in and say why it should be ranked choice voting. You could have someone that supports changing nothing. And the public has yet to hear this. So all we're going to do is throw this star voting on the ballot, and they're going to just sit there and go, oh, I don't know, you know, what do I compare it to? So to do that, it's going to take more time than between now and November.
Yes, I see your concern. I guess, when Sarah speaks to the, well.
Yep.
You know, they already finished a campaign in Eugene, which didn't pass. They're ready to go, you know, they're stacked up, they're ready to go, and obviously it behooves them to come in and help us put the word out.
Sure.
Otherwise it wouldn't pass. But I understand what's going on. I think we can get past it.
Councilor Kennedy, do you have a comment to make? I saw your hand up.
I think that my comment is no longer relevant based on something else you said.
And please, Sarah,
Yeah, we do think that this is best voted on in a November election, because that's the election that has the highest turnout, that's the election that Oak Ridge election happened in.
no 50-50 either, so.
Yeah, and so waiting would be waiting for 2 whole years, which I don't think people want to wait for years and years, because after we pass the thing, it's gonna be 2 more years for implementation. So that would push the whole thing out 4 years.
Certainly. Yep.
So the reason we are, you know, kind of, there were some pros and cons about should we do this now? And the reason we supported the Charter Reform Commission's desire to do it now is that it gives full 2 years for the implementation, for the voter education. And while I do definitely respect your desire to have the voters have like a robust discussion on electoral science and the different voting methods that are out there. The reality is that most voters want experts to vet the systems and put forward the best proposal. They don't want to get lost in the weeds.
Yep. And the only other thing is, I got it. You want Oak Ridge to lead the way and carry the torch for this thing. Being first, the Daytona 500 is great, and being first at some other foot race is great. Being first in something like this, in my mind, my personal opinion, is not so great. We would be the first city, right, ever to use star voting in the nation. I don't want to be that city. Why? Lawsuits. You could be contested. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that model city. I want to wait and let another city with deeper pockets implement this. And if it works, I'm more than happy to send it to the ballot. This is just my personal opinion. So anyway, any other discussion on this? All right, so the motion is going to be move to approve resolution 19/2024 referring to star voting ordinance to the voters in November after a first reading. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Sorry, there was a hand.
Is there, Councilor Hollett, did you have a comment on this item?
Yeah, I just had a couple things. One, I definitely support putting things on the ballot and allowing the citizens to vote for themselves. I just have a question for Sarah, and that is, if the council does put this on the ballot, will Sarah be working with us to help educate our citizens in the coming months? Because I feel like if we do put this on the ballot, we need to make sure that we are doing a town hall, social media, maybe some mailers or something to try and educate them.
She's nodding her head, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
People Vote Coalition would like to commit to being fully accessible. I'm happy to come up to Oak Ridge with my team as often as you all invite us. We'd like to work closely with you to make sure that we do all of that, town halls,
mailers, events, cabling, and forums. I think that's what it would take.
Thank you.
Any other discussion to be had? Okay, again, the motion was to approve resolution 19/2024, referring a star voting ordinance to the voters in November after a first reading. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin,
No.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
All right, motion passes 5 in favor, 1 opposed. James, you want to read the resolution, please?
And this one is two parts. This one is two parts. All right. Resolution 19-2024, resolution of the city of Oak Ridge, Benton County, Oregon, referring to the voters of the city a pilot project implementing star voting for the election of municipal officers and subject to voter reaffirmation at the November 5th, 2030 general election. Whereas pursuant to Article 9, Section 2 of the Oregon Constitution and the Oak Ridge Charter, the city of Oak Ridge is a home rule municipality with all the powers that the Constitution, statutes, and common laws of the United States and the state of Oregon expressly or implicitly grant or allow the city. Whereas pursuant to Section 2, Article 16 of the Oregon Constitution, provision may be made by law for the voters' direct or indirect expression of these first, second, or additional choices among the candidates for any office. Whereas the star voting method enables elections to produce outcomes that more closely reflect the preferences of voters. Whereas the star voting method determines the winner in a single accurate election to be held in November, which makes running for office more accessible for prospective candidates. Whereas the proposed pilot project would afford voters of the city of Oak Ridge the opportunity to try star voting re-election cycles, allowing the people to make a more informed decision on whether to implement the system on a permanent basis by a vote to be held at the third star voting election. Whereas this pilot project would be implemented at no cost to the city of Oak Ridge. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Oak Ridge, the county board as follows. 1, the city council hereby refers to the voters of the city of Oak Ridge at the November 2024 general election the question of adopting an ordinance to adopt a pilot project implementing the method of star voting for 3 consecutive voting cycles for the election of all municipal officers as described in today. Pilot project would implement star voting for the November elections to be held in years. 2, within 60 days of passage of this referral, the city of Oak Ridge shall request sufficient funding from the state and if necessary other public and nonprofit sources to pay Lane County for the initial implementation of star voting and for the city to provide the initial education and to the voters. The city of Oak Ridge will not provide this funding. City will request authority from Lane County and or the state of Oregon to use hand counting to tally the votes cast and to establish a certified vendor for star voting tabulation. Pursuant to state law, Lane County will implement star voting and the first general election is held at least 6 months after the date that sufficient funding for initial implementation is secured and contingent upon sufficient funding for subsequent implementations across the city and the subsequent general and special election of elected officers thereafter. Just making sure that it's accurate in Lane County will implement star voting.
Right,
Because
the county clerk has the authority to run elections
I think that
or delegate that. But it's ultimately their authority.
3, the text of the proposed ordinance is attached to this resolution as exhibit. 4, the voters of the city of Oak Ridge approve the proposed ordinance at the November 2024 general election. The council shall refer to the voters of the city of Oak Ridge at the third subsequent general election question of amending the city charter to require use of star voting in subsequent elections of municipal officers. Charter amendment will consist of the text of Exhibit A, Number that you conform with the format of the city charter in 20. 5 is the council adopts and certifies the notice of measured election attached to this resolution. B, 6, the election is hereby called and shall be held on November 5th, 2022. Is November 5th the correct date? Because I think there is a typo. Section 4. So we just go and see if it's November 4th. 7, the council directs that there shall be delivered to the election officer of Lane County, Oregon, not later than the 61st day before the date of the election, notice of measure election approved by the city council. 8, the council directs that the city elections official shall cause the notice of measure election temporary ballot, the dates of the election to be posted and published in accordance with laws of the state of Oregon and the charter and ordinances of the city of Oregon. 9, the city administrator and the city attorney, each of the duties are hereby authorized and directed to prepare and file mandatory statement for this measure and to take such other action items necessary or appropriate to carry out purposes and intent of this resolution in compliance with the applicable provisions of the law.
Thank you, James.
Yes.
Yep. Been a long night, but I'd ask the council if they're willing to go till 8:30 to get the committee and staff briefings. Anyone cannot do that?
Personally, don't want to.
Okay, any others opposed? We can push, I mean, the staff has already been delayed once, or is it?
Yeah, I don't know where that would put us. I mean, we can go through these and quickly, because we're already doing both, because we only have one meeting this month in July, so we.
Well, if you have to go, you have to go, and we'll do the briefings and you can watch the recording. What's that?
I just need to go use it.
Okay,
I'll be right back.
okay. All right. On item 15, which is department staff, board, committee, commission reports, 15.1 is the admin committee. Councilor Kenyon.
Our admin committee hasn't met, we've postponed.
And also audit committee on 15.2.
Audit, I believe we've already reported on. The most,
I think we reported that we were going to have. a meeting, But now we did have. a
Oh.
meeting.
okay, so we met and we received the audit. And then the audit came to council and we wrote the well, you wrote the
Corrective actions.
corrective actions and presented that tonight, so I think we're as up to date as we can be. However, she did mention, which is a key point, that she's willing to start on our next audit ASAP. Which I love.
Yep. All right, 15.3, public safety. Were you there, James?
We actually.
Cancel it? Okay. 15.4, I think we can skip that charter reviewer. We've pretty much done that in depth.
We met here today.
15.5, library board.
Yeah, I missed it due to a sick child, but have the agenda here. The joining the art walk was discussed, marketing, promoting the library more. The book delivery for shut-ins and a book giveaway.
Okay. 8.6 is ODAC. James, did you attend that one, or was it held?
That one also got canceled.
Okay. And on to RTMP TRT. Have they met?
We also canceled that meeting.
15.8 is planning commission. Okay. Is it a training session? I'm trying to remember what that was.
For planning commission last month. Sorry, we had a brief work session where we received some reports from our first SCYP, the GIS aspect. Then we went into a regular session where we had a temporary use permit for a mobile food vending unit and a variance to go along with that. And a second variance for rear and side yard setbacks for a home being built on a rather steep property. And that's what we have for planning commission. I do want to take time real quick to make a plug for on Monday, the 22nd, we should have our virtual public workshop live. That's thanks to TGM phase 2. And from there, we will be seeking input on some of the proposed zoning changes and code amendment changes. So keep an eye out for that and please share the word.
Thank you, Rick. 15.9 is Parks and Community Services Committee. Were you on that, or is that Rick?
I was camping.
Okay, Rick, were you there?
I'm still here. So yes, we discussed pump track progress, Salmon Creek Trestle Bridge progress. We had some SCYP updates to TGM phase 2 updates, and we started talking about trying to establish a 5-year plan, potentially for the Green Waters Park. And we also discussed the Middle Fork Open Disc Golf Tournament. And that was our meeting for the Parks and Community Development.
Thank you, Rick. 15.10 is WAC Subcommittee, Councilor Hollett.
James, do you have notes in front of you on that? I know that was a fairly short meeting last time.
Yeah, just kind of gave an update on funding. Did some more work on discussing how we want to move forward with letters, promise letters of tenants.
Can you report on the changes to that one grant that we were waiting on?
Yeah, basically FEMA told us to do one thing and you pulled off on starting work on the roof in order to be eligible for the grant. Then they told us the grant because we didn't start work yet. So they're frustrating. We've got a couple of congressional delegations here and they're the general consensus is that FEMA is hard to work with. That.
Yes.
Thank you, James. Please.
When FEMA made the suggestion not to start on that, did they put that in writing?
It was in writing, but it was from Oregon Emergency.
OEM, yeah.
So we have to apply through the Oregon agency, but then contacts FEMA and works with them, so something got lost in translation.
Yeah, we made the congressional delegation aware of it, and they're trying to make sure that, number one, it doesn't happen again, and is there anything we can do to turn that decision around, but that's probably not gonna be, it was cleanup money anyway, sweep up money.
How much might we not have then?
Well, it was,
How much?
3.5 million.
so it was a big number, yeah, but
Well, we have a grant out right now of a similar amount to county. It's almost exactly the same amount. For the resilience subs, so if we get that.
all right, 15.11 is the WAC funding committee. I was unable to attend. Were you there, James?
Yeah, ditto to what I said,
Yeah. Okay. All right, down to staff. 15.12 is a finance report. Any questions of Melody or any preliminary remarks you want to make, Melody? No? Okay.
This,
Counselor King.
one question is, how caught up are we on the reconciliations now?
I was gonna say, I noted that in the agenda.
Yeah, March
So,
24th.
March is complete, so we're working on April and, it's really good progress, a couple of ups with the new accounting system. We have to take it out to get that resolved, and, their entries are getting entered, and, hopefully within the next, I'd say 1 to 2 weeks, we should be on board. And, once everything is caught up, going forward, it should be, way more, efficient.
Excellent. I'd also like to just make a note that we need to have that particular question answered in our meeting minutes to be compliant.
The one you just asked?
List of them.
There's a list of questions and we're supposed to ask one. That's one of them.
Melody, do you have a target for when you going to close out the last fiscal year?
Usually July is, there's a lot of reporting, filing, things like that to kind of tie up the loose ends. So by the end of July, we should be completed with last fiscal year.
I noticed in your report that several of the payroll line items on the departments were way under budget. Was June's payroll in there? Is that why they're so?
June hasn't been, April hasn't been reconciled.
Right.
May hasn't been reconciled. And I know that payroll was one of the line items that, we were having some trouble, identifying the different funds.
Yep.
So we are working on getting that straightened out. So that could have been one of the differences. It's not being doled out to the certain funds as it should be. But again, moving forward, working on fixing that glitch and moving forward, it should be fixed.
And I've always found it helpful once you do close out, if you could print out that last fiscal year's end of year report, it's great to refer to and back on. Okay, thank you. Any other questions of finance? Chief Martin, are you online?
Yes, is my camera doesn't seem to be coming up.
We can hear you.
Oh, there we go. Mayor, council, and citizens, June's police report, we had 234 calls for service that resulted in 23 case reports. We had 6 arrests. Oak Ridge had 215 incident reports with 21 case reports. Westford had 6 incident reports with 2 case reports. Lowell had 13 incident reports with 0 case reports, and citations to the courts were Oak Ridge Municipal Court 4,900.
Lost you, Kevin.
Luckily, he's got a written report.
Right. All right, any questions of Chief Martin? Thank you, Chief. Chief Hollett, are you online?
Yeah, I made it back.
Okay, thank you.
in June, we had 100 incidents that we responded to. 82 of those were EMS related calls, 7 motor vehicle accidents, 2 cardiac arrest calls, and 13 seizure calls. We also had 7 fires during that time period. 3 of those were vegetation fires that we don't normally see those this early in the year, but we did have 3. Most of them were caused by the unhoused, unfortunately, with cooking fires and campfires. I'm happy to report that the fire on High Prairie, we had a very good response on that call. We had a great response time. We had 2 engines and 2 tenders that responded. We were able to gain access to the fire area very quickly. We had 9 personnel that responded, and we were able to keep the fire from crossing over the top of the ridge into public lands. I will say we were extremely happy to see the Forest Service and ODF arrive, but it went very well, and just very happy the way things went.
Thank you, Chief. Anything more?
That's it.
Any questions for Chief Holland on this? Chief, do you have aviation assets? I think you had a few, didn't you, for the fire?
Not initially. Yesterday, they brought in 2 helicopters. Today, they had 2 tankers come in and drop some retardant. I got a report this evening that the fire did lay down very well today. Did not burn outside of the original burn print, and they expect they'll have it fully under control tomorrow, and we will likely drop back to a level 1 evacuation.
Thank you, Chief. All right, 15.15, that's Public Works and the annual drinking water report. Is that you, Rick, or is Robert?
Yeah, that would, no, Robert's not with us at the moment. So Public Works, we distributed 20 million gallons of water for June, treated 7 million gallons of wastewater, 33 service orders, 27 locates. We had no wastewater repairs, no water leaks. That was nice. Other tasks performed. The crew's been working tirelessly, brushing, mowing, and abating grass, weeds, and briars from the parks and right-of-ways. One of our newer crew members, Isaiah Mark, completed the truck driving school and is now a holder of a Class A CDL. One of the many requirements to advance in the ladder of Public Works. The amphitheater was painted and got a very overdue facelift after the construction rebuild that on the top construction did earlier this spring. It looks great. I think we're all very happy to have that building back and in great shape. So, and then for our drinking water report, we have the annual drinking water report in your packet. There's not a whole lot to say about that, and I'll be brief. Again, year after year, we pass with no violations. What minor things are detected are considerably under the MCL, which is the maximum contamination levels. If you have any questions, I would prefer emails on those.
Councilor Kenyon, maybe ask the question. If you can answer it, they can answer it. Otherwise, they'll email you back.
Imagine you could. I was always wondering if we do any testing in our monthly or daily testing inside people's homes.
Inside people's homes?
Yeah.
Occasionally, but it's uncommon. It's uncommon. We do a lot of testing out of the it's common to test on the outside faucets of private properties, but
okay.
not so much inside the homes. It has happened, but it's not a common practice.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Rick, and congratulations on the annual report. Moving on to public comment. I'll start in the room. Is there any public comment in the room before we go to adjournment? Online? Any public comment online? Councilor Holland? Do you have your hand up for a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something that was announced to me during the meeting tonight. This has to do with the Hazeldale, quarry. Apparently the county planning committee has unanimously voted to recommend to the county commissioners to deny the application. So they're waiting on the county commissioners to make a decision. And I just thought that would be really impertinent to this group to know about that. It's good news for people that have been working in that effort. So just wanted to let you guys know.
Thank you. Any public comment online? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
All right, meeting adjourned at 8:27. Thanks, everyone, for the long haul. Signature.